The shoe hit the bench before anyone understood what was happening. A sharp crack echoed through the courtroom, freezing every breath in the room. Judge Judy didn't flinch, not even a blink, as the designer heel spun across the floor like a reckless confession. The billionaire's daughter stood trembling, fury and entitlement burning in her eyes. And then, Judge Judy slowly stood up. What she said next would shake the courtroom to its core. The heel is still spinning on the polished courtroom floor when the silence hits, a thick, breathless silence that feels alive. The bailiff instinctively takes a step forward, hand hovering near his belt, waiting for Judge Judy's slightest cue. But none comes. The judge doesn't even blink. Judge Judy stands behind the bench, her posture razor straight, her gaze fixed on the billionaire's daughter who just hurled a shoe like it was a royal decree. The designer heel wobbles, then falls flat with a soft thud that somehow echoes louder than the chaos it caused. Serena Lockridge, heiress to the Lockridge tech empire, stares back at Judy with a toxic blend of defiance and panic. Her jaw is tight, her breathing shallow. She's trying to appear unfazed, but her trembling hands betray her. A murmur ripples through the audience benches, but Judy lifts one finger, and the room freezes again. "Leave it," Judge Judy says to the bailiff without taking her eyes off Serena. The bailiff stops mid-step. That single command, sharp but controlled, tightens the tension like a tightened violin string. Serena swallows, eyes darting around the courtroom as if someone will swoop in to protect her. She's not used to standing alone, not used to consequences, not used to anyone telling her no. Across the aisle, the plaintiff sits small and quiet. Carla Reyes, former nanny in the Lockridge mansion, folds her hands in her lap. She watches Serena with a mix of pain and vindication, the complicated expression of someone who has seen cruelty up close and is finally witnessing its mask slip. Judge Judy clears her throat once. "We will proceed," she says coolly. "Shoe or no shoe." Laughter threatens to break from the gallery, but Judy's glare smothers it instantly. Serena flicks her hair over her shoulder, trying to reconstruct her composure. "I'm not sitting here if—" "You are sitting here," Judge Judy cuts in, voice steady as granite, "unless you plan to throw the other shoe too. Though I'd suggest reconsidering. Those heels look expensive." A sharp exhale escapes someone in the audience. Serena's cheeks redden. Judy leans slightly forward. "Now, Miss Lockridge, before we continue this case, you are going to explain to me, clearly, why you thought it was appropriate to throw your shoe at the bench." For a moment, Serena says nothing. The silence grows heavy. Carla looks down at her hands. The bailiff shifts his weight. The gallery leans in. Then Serena lifts her chin with a slow, venomous confidence returning to her posture. She meets Judge Judy's stare, head on. "Because you people need to learn who you're talking to." Gasps shoot across the room like sparks hitting dry tinder. Judge Judy's expression doesn't change, but something behind her eyes does. A tightening, a decision. And Serena has no idea what storm she just unleashed. Her words, "You people need to learn who you're talking to," still hang in the air like smoke from a gun just fired. Judge Judy raises one eyebrow, a tiny movement that somehow drops the temperature of the entire courtroom. No one even breathes. Serena Lockridge shifts in her seat, the confidence from a moment earlier flickering but not extinguished. She spent her life around people who either worshipped her last name or feared it. She's banking on that working here. But Judge Judy is not people. "Well," Judy says softly, "why don't you teach us? Who exactly do you believe you are?" Serena crosses her legs, chin tilted high. "My family practically built half the tech infrastructure in this country," she says. "We fund politicians, we fund charities, You fund your own ego," Judge Judy interrupts. A few gasps flutter through the audience, but Serena plows ahead, refusing to be derailed. "I don't have to sit here and listen to some—" "You do have to sit," Judy snaps, the sudden sharpness slicing through Serena's arrogance like a scalpel. "And you will listen. That is how this works." Serena's face tightens. She's not used to being spoken to like this. Not by teachers, not by staff, not by anyone. Carla sits quietly, eyes lowered. Her shoulders rise and fall in a tremor, as if reliving memories she tried to bury. Serena notices, scoffs loudly, and gestures toward her. She's lying to get money, Serena says. She always wanted more than her paycheck. She envied my lifestyle. Everyone envies me. Judge Judy's gaze shifts to Carla. Is that true? Carla's voice is soft but steady. I didn't envy her, Your Honor. I pitied her. And then I feared her. Serena erupts with laughter, too loud, too brittle. Feared me? Please, she's dramatic. She couldn't handle the pressure of working in a high-class household. You mean the pressure of cleaning up after your temper tantrums? Judge Judy asks. The gallery murmurs again. Serena opens her mouth, but Judy lifts a hand and her silence is immediate. Miss Lockridge, Judy says, this is a civil complaint regarding wrongful termination, withheld wages, and alleged emotional abuse toward household staff. Yet, so far, all you've given me is ego and noise. Serena's nostrils flare. I'm telling you the truth. No, Judy says calmly. You're performing. Serena stiffens. Her fingers grip the armrest, knuckles paling. Judge Judy leans forward, voice low but firm. If you want me to hear your side, stop interrupting, stop posturing, and start answering with facts. Serena tries to hold her stare but falters. Carla dares a glance upward. Serena's facade trembles. Judge Judy's patience thins, and then it snaps. Enough! The word lands like a gavel strike. Judge Judy leans even closer. Her voice drops to a dangerous hush. If you keep talking, young lady, she pauses, letting the silence bend. I promise you'll regret it. The echo of Judge Judy's warning still vibrates in the air when the camera shifts, slow, deliberate, to Carla Reyes. Her hands tremble around the stack of documents she's clutching, pages slightly wrinkled from fear and sleepless nights. The entire courtroom waits for her voice. Even Serena. Carla clears her throat. And it sounds like someone trying to speak after years of being silent. Your Honor, she begins softly, this is everything. My employment record, text messages, the notice of termination, and the missing pay stubs. Judge Judy motions for the bailiff, who gently takes the documents and places them on the bench. Papers rustle like whispered secrets being exposed. Judy adjusts her glasses. All right, Ms. Reyes. Tell me why you brought this case. Carla inhales slowly, steadying her shaking hands. I worked for the Lockridge family for 3 years. I took care of Serena's younger cousins when they visited, coordinated household schedules, and tried to keep the peace. Serena scoffs, loudly. Judy doesn't even look up. Miss Lockridge, one more interruption and I'll have you removed, and I will happily proceed without you. The scoff dies instantly. Carla continues, her voice gaining strength. The truth is, the working environment became unbearable, not because of the workload, but because of her. She nods toward Serena, who rolls her eyes so dramatically, a few audience members shift uncomfortably. Go on, Judy says. Carla swallows. Serena screamed at staff almost daily, insulted us, humiliated us. She fired 2 housekeepers within the same week just because she didn't like how they folded towels. That's a lie, Serena blurts. Judge Judy slams her palm lightly on the bench. Miss Lockridge, we are going to hear her. Sit. Quiet. Serena sinks back but continues shaking with indignation. Carla's eyes glisten. And when I tried to talk to her about the way she treated one of the housekeepers, she turned on me. She said I was stepping out of my place, we argued, and the next day she fired me. Because you were insubordinate, Serena snaps again. You confronted me like you were my boss and you... Judy's glare cuts her off. Carla continues, voice cracking for the first time. She refused to pay my final 2 weeks, locked me out of the payroll system, blocked my number. The gallery murmurs. Judge Judy flips through the documents, pausing at a page. This payroll record is missing entries. Carla nods. Yes, Your Honor, I wasn't paid for the last 14 days. But I fired her, Serena shouts. Why should I pay someone I fired? Judge Judy's head snaps up. Because labor laws exist, Miss Lockridge. You don't get to invent your own rules because you feel like it. Serena opens her mouth again. Judy cuts her down with a single word. Stop. The judge turns back to the documents. Ms. Reyes, is there anything else I should know? Carla hesitates. Her fingers tighten. Yes, but I was told she wouldn't have to bring her financial documents unless the court requested them. Judge Judy narrows her eyes. And I'm requesting them now. Serena stiffens. Those documents are private, Serena whispers. Judy's tone becomes lethal calm. Not in my courtroom. Serena's breath catches, because for the first time, she realizes Judge Judy isn't bluffing, and something she's been hiding is about to be dragged into the light. The judge's demand hangs in the air like a thundercloud. Before Serena can form an objection, the bailiff is already moving, slow, authoritative, unstoppable, toward her attorney. A tension hums across the courtroom, the kind that precedes a building collapse. Serena's attorney, a polished man with a too-perfect tie knot, shifts uncomfortably as the bailiff hands him the court order. "Your Honor," he protests gently, "these documents weren't—" "They are now," Judge Judy cuts in. "Produce them." "I need a moment. You have 30 seconds. The attorney swallows, nods once, and opens his briefcase. Cameras zoom in as he removes a thick silver folder, labeled Household Operations, Lockridge Residence. Serena's eyes widen. "No, don't—" But it's too late. The bailiff delivers the folder to Judge Judy. The metallic clasp clicks open with a sound that feels like a vault being cracked. Papers slide across the bench under Judy's fingertips. Financial logs, staff evaluations, payroll summaries, security reports. The courtroom holds its breath as Judy's eyes move faster, sharper. Page, flip, stillness, page, flip. Her jaw tightens. "Miss Lockridge," Judy says without looking up, "you submitted incomplete financials during pre-trial discovery." Serena freezes. "These payroll reports are missing entire weeks of staff hours. And here," Judy taps a page with her pen, "is a termination report you filed claiming Ms. Reyes abandoned her post. Yet according to security logs, she swiped in for her shift the day after your alleged termination." Carla lowers her head, overwhelmed. Serena stammers, I didn't handle payroll. My father's corporate team manages that stuff." Judge Judy's eyes rise like twin spotlights locking onto a liar. "And yet this document is signed by you." Serena swallows hard. It was for formality." "For formality," Judy repeats, voice icy. "You signed a legal employment document to formally lie?" Serena's lips part, but no sound comes out. The courtroom buzzes with whispers. Carla shifts nervously. "Your Honor, there's something else." She reaches into her purse and pulls out a small black device, a digital recorder. The room inhales sharply as she holds it out. "Ms. Reyes," Judy asks, "what is that?" "A voice recording," Carla whispers. "From the day before I was fired." Serena bolts upright. "No, she's making this up. You can't allow illegal recordings." Judge Judy raises a hand. "Was this a private conversation?" "It was in the kitchen," Carla says, "with staff around. Then it's admissible." Serena's face drains of color. Judy nods to the bailiff. "Play it." The bailiff connects the device to the courtroom speakers. A moment of static crackles through the room, prickling everyone's skin. Then a voice emerges. Cold, sharp, undeniably Serena's. "Fire her, she's disposable." A collective gasp rises, but before the recording ends, another voice, faint, deeper, male, overlaps in the background. And Serena's face goes white, as if she recognizes it instantly. The static deepens for a split second, then the second voice threads through the speakers like a ghost cutting through the dark. A man's voice, low, commanding, unmistakably accustomed to being obeyed. Serena's spine straightens as if someone yanked it upward with invisible wire. For the first time all day, she looks afraid. Judge Judy leans closer to the bench, eyes narrowing, listening. The faint background line repeats through the distortion. "Handle it. I don't want to hear about staff problems again." The courtroom freezes. The bailiff glances toward Serena, then toward the plaintiff's table, then back at the judge. Carla's head lifts slowly, confusion mixing with vindication. Judge Judy taps a button. "Play it again." The clip restarts, Serena's sharp command, followed by the man's muted directive. On the second pass, the voice is unmistakable. Serena's attorney clears his throat. "Your Honor, that second voice—" "We know." Judge Judy's voice slices the air. "It's her father." A ripple of shock sweeps across the gallery like a tide hitting the shore. Several spectators exchange looks. The Lockridge family isn't just wealthy. They're known for their iron grip on industries, politicians, influencers. But here, in this tiny courtroom, the truth has no PR shield. Serena's lips tremble. It's not what you think," Judy folds her hands. Enlighten us. Serena's gaze darts around like a trapped animal searching for an exit that doesn't exist. My father was frustrated. The staff kept complaining. It was affecting his work. He told me to manage things. Manage things, Judy repeats, by firing people or by mistreating them? I didn't mistreat anyone, Serena snaps, then winces as the recording contradicts her in real time from the speakers. Judge Judy doesn't bother hiding her disbelief. Miss Lockridge, your tone in that recording suggests otherwise. Carla sits stiffly. Your Honor, that wasn't the only time he got involved. Serena whirls around. Shut up! You don't know anything about him! Miss Lockridge, Judy barks, sit down. Serena collapses into her seat, breathing heavily, palms pressed to her forehead. Carla's voice steadies. Whenever staff brought issues about her behavior, he dismissed us. He made excuses for her, protected her. Serena's head snaps up, eyes wet. Protected me? You think he protected me? Silence swallows the room. Judge Judy studies her carefully, the cracks widening, but she doesn't go soft. Not yet. Miss Reyes, Judy says, you mentioned earlier that you had more evidence. Carla nods. She reaches into her bag again, this time pulling out a second recording device, smaller, older, the kind someone might hide in a pocket for self-protection. This one, she says quietly, wasn't recorded by accident. I made it intentionally. Serena jerks upright. No, you can't. Judge Judy raises her hand. Miss Lockridge, unless you plan on throwing the other shoe, you will remain silent. Serena falls back, shaking. The bailiff takes the new device, carrying it toward the bench like delicate evidence from a crime scene. Judge Judy looks at Carla, then at Serena. What's on this recording? Carla hesitates, then answers, everything Serena never wanted anyone to hear. Judge Judy presses play, and the room braces as a second, even darker truth begins to surface. Carla's fingers tremble as the bailiff hands Judge Judy the second device, a small, scuffed recorder that looks as though it has lived in fear just as much as the woman who carried it. The courtroom leans in, an entire room holding one shared breath. Even the air seems to tighten as Judy lifts her finger toward the play button. A soft static crackles, the kind that prickles the skin. Then, Serena's voice fills the courtroom. Not angry this time. Worse, mocking, cruel, giddy with power. Watch this, she laughs on the recording. She'll do anything if you tell her you'll cut her hours. The gallery flinches. The recording continues. Muffled footsteps, a door closing, then Serena's sharpened tone. She's so dumb she probably thinks we care about her family. Honestly, these people are lucky we let them work for us. Serena covers her mouth, horrified at her own words echoing back at her. That's not... Quiet, Judge Judy commands, not looking at her. The recording continues. Serena again. And Carla. Ugh. She acts like she's part of the family. She doesn't get that she's staff. Disposable. Like a broken appliance. Carla's shoulders fold inward as the courtroom murmurs in disbelief. Another voice on the recording, a younger housekeeper, whispers something unintelligible. Serena responds sharply, "Keep talking and I'll replace you too. My dad says if any of you step out of line, we can cut you loose. Easy." Judge Judy's expression darkens, the kind of darkness that doesn't raise its voice, it sharpens it. The recording shifts, a shuffling sound, a brief scuffle. Carla's voice, distressed, trembling. "Serena, stop. Please. I didn't do anything." Then the sound of a door slamming, a lock clicking. Carla's small cry from the other side. The courtroom goes still. Carla's voice continues on the recording, panicked, muffled. "Please let me out. This isn't funny. Serena! Serena!" Serena buries her face in her hands. I wasn't. It was a joke. It was supposed to be a joke." Judge Judy presses pause. The sudden silence feels heavier than the recording. She turns her eyes, slow and surgical, toward Serena. "You locked her in a pantry." Serena shakes her head frantically. "I didn't mean to. She was being dramatic. It wasn't that serious," Carla whispers. "It was hours." The room gasps again. Judge Judy's voice drops to a level so calm it's terrifying. "Miss Lockridge, you used your privilege like a weapon, and you expect this court to believe it was a harmless joke?" Serena opens her mouth, but nothing comes out except a broken breath. Carla wipes her eyes. "That's why I had to record it, Your Honor. No one believed us without proof." For once, Serena doesn't shout back. Her face collapses into fear, not of punishment, but exposure. The truth is no longer deniable. Judge Judy turns to Carla. "One more question," she says, her voice razor still. "After she locked you in that pantry, what happened next?" Carla's answer makes the entire room gasp. "He didn't just fire me," she whispers. "Serena locked me in." And her father laughed. Judge Judy's gavel falls once, not in anger, but in a controlled strike that cuts through the gasps like a knife through silk. The courtroom stills, the tension settling heavier than before. Carla's final words echo. Her father laughed. Judy leans forward. "Ms. Reyes, tell this courtroom exactly what happened that night." Carla wipes her palms on her skirt, grounding herself. The overhead lights cast long shadows on her face, softening and sharpening her emotions all at once. "It was late," she begins quietly. "Almost midnight. I'd stayed after hours to finish prepping the guest rooms." Serena shifts uncomfortably but remains silent. Judy's glare earlier ensured that. Carla continues. "Serena came home angry. I don't know why. Something about her father criticizing her. I tried staying out of the way, but she called me into the kitchen." The courtroom leans forward as if gravity itself pulls them closer. "She had a bottle of champagne in her hand," Carla says. "She wasn't drunk, but she wanted to be. She asked why the guest towels weren't Hotel Crisp. I told her I had done them the way the head housekeeper taught me." Serena looks down, jaw trembling. Carla steadies herself. "She told me I was lazy, that everyone in the house was incompetent. Then she told me to kneel." A ripple of horror sweeps the gallery. "I refused," Carla says. "I told her I wouldn't do that I deserved respect." Judy nods gently, reinforcing her resolve. "And her response?" Carla's voice tightens. "She grabbed my arm, hard, dragged me to the pantry and shoved me inside. I fell against the shelf." Serena closes her eyes, whispering something only she can hear. Carla breathes deeply, reliving it. "I begged her to stop. I told her I couldn't stay in there. It was dark. There were no windows. I had a panic attack." Her lips tremble. "I pleaded, and she just laughed." The gallery murmurs, some people visibly recoiling. "But the worst part," Carla says, voice cracking, "was when her father came in." Serena's head snaps up, horror filling her eyes. Carla nods slowly. "He asked why I was crying. Serena told him she was putting me in my place, and she swallows. He chuckled. Said something like, 'She'll learn.' Then he walked away." The weight of those words sinks into every corner of the courtroom. Judge Judy sits back, her expression carved into something between fury and heartbreak. She doesn't shout, doesn't curse. Her silence is a storm with its eyes open. Serena whispers, I didn't know she." Judy cuts her off softly. "You didn't care." Serena flinches as if struck. Before Judy can speak again, the courtroom door creaks open. A woman, older, nervous, clutching a purse, steps forward. The bailiff turns. "Your Honor, this is Angela Morales, former housekeeper from the Lockridge residence. She responded to the summons." Carla whips around. Serena's blood runs cold. Angela approaches the stand, hands trembling. Before she even sits, she whispers, "I saw everything." Angela Morales barely reaches the witness stand before her knees threaten to give out. The courtroom seems to shrink around her, funneling every ounce of pressure onto her trembling shoulders. Serena watches her like a statue cracking from the inside. Judge Judy softens her tone just slightly, a courtesy reserved only for the truly frightened. "Ms. Morales, take your time. Tell us what you came here to say." Angela grips the railing. Her voice is a fragile whisper. I worked at the Lockridge home for 6 years. I saw a lot. Too much." Her eyes flick to Serena, who quickly looks away. "What did you witness the night Carla was locked in the pantry?" Judy asks. Angela swallows. "Everything. I was in the hallway when Serena dragged her in. I tried to intervene, but Serena yelled at me to stay out of it." Serena lurches forward. "You weren't even there." "Miss Lockridge," Judge Judy snaps, "this is your final warning. One more interruption, and you will be removed." Serena's mouth shuts, but fury radiates off her like heat. Angela continues, voice steadier now that the truth has cracked open. Carla was crying, begging, and Serena just walked away. I asked her why she was doing that. She said Carla needed to learn boundaries. The gallery erupts in hushed horror. Angela's hands twist together. I wanted to let her out. I really did. But then Mr. Lockridge walked in. Serena's breath stutters. She grips the table as though the wood itself is the only thing keeping her upright. Judge Judy leans forward. Ms. Morales, what did Serena's father do? Angela's eyes fill with shame. He laughed. He said, Carla needs toughening. And then he told me not to question Serena again. Judy's jaw tightens, the kind of tightening that spells future consequences, official ones. Angela continues. When Serena finally let Carla out hours later, she didn't apologize. She told her to fix her attitude. Angela pauses. Carla could barely stand up. She was shaking. Serena blinks rapidly, trying to hold back rising tears. But they aren't the kind that inspire sympathy. They're the kind born from a collapsing reality. Judge Judy exhales slowly. Ms. Morales, is this the only incident of this nature that you witnessed? Angela's lips quiver. She shakes her head once hard. Serena freezes. Speak up, Ms. Morales, Judy urges gently. This courtroom needs the truth. Angela stares at Serena, not with hatred, but with the exhaustion of someone who carried silence for too long. It wasn't the first time, she says, voice cracking. Serena did things like this often, and her father, her breath trembles. He always supported her, Serena whispers. That's a lie, but even she doesn't sound convinced. Judy taps her pen lightly on the bench. It sounds almost like a countdown. Angela looks down, tears falling onto her hands. And it happened to me too, she whispers. The room implodes with shock. Judge Judy leans in, voice steady as a blade. Ms. Morales, tell this court exactly what she did to you. Angela Morales closes her eyes as if gathering strength from a place long buried. When she opens them again, the courtroom isn't just watching. It's holding on to every fragile breath she exhales. Serena's fingers curl into trembling fists, the last remnants of her confidence dripping through her grasp like water. Judge Judy nods gently. Ms. Morales, you may continue. Angela swallows, forcing out the words. Serena, she used to play games, cruel ones. A ripple of unease moves through the gallery. What kind of games? Judy asks, though her tone suggests she already knows she won't like the answer. Angela clasps the railing tightly. Punishment games. If we didn't meet her exact standards, her impossible standards, she'd make us do things. She looks down. Humiliating things. Serena shakes her head rapidly. No, that's not. Miss Lockridge, Judy snaps. You will remain silent. Angela continues. One night she came home upset about a bad date. She stormed into the kitchen while I was cleaning and she threw her bracelet at me. Angela's voice catches. A diamond bracelet. It hit my shoulder. She lifts her sleeve slightly, revealing a faint scar. The courtroom gasps. Angela opens her hand, revealing the same bracelet, its surface marred by a small dent. I kept it because I knew no one would believe me otherwise. Serena's face drains completely. It slipped. I dropped it. No, you didn't, Angela whispers, and for the first time her voice carries steel. You aimed. Judge Judy leans back, assessing Serena not as a judge, but as someone evaluating the entire shape of her moral character. Miss Lockridge, is there any part of Miss Morales' testimony you'd like to dispute with actual evidence? Serena opens her mouth, but nothing comes out except the faint sound of air catching on fear. Angela wipes a tear. Her father knew. He saw the bruise. He told me it was part of the job. Said if I didn't like it, I could leave, but that I'd never get a reference from them again. Carla covers her mouth. Even those who came into the courtroom skeptical now look at Serena with something darker than judgment, disappointment. Angela steadies herself. Your Honor, I didn't want to testify. I was scared. But when I heard what happened to Carla, I couldn't keep quiet anymore. The room fills with thick silence. Judy lifts the bracelet, turning it slowly under the courtroom lights. It glitters beautifully, coldly, a weapon disguised as luxury. Finally, she places it down, the metal clinking sharply. Miss Lockridge, she says, your pattern of abuse is no longer a matter of speculation. It is corroborated, documented, and witnessed by multiple individuals. Serena begins to cry. But it's not the broken, remorseful cry of someone who understands the weight of her actions. It's the cracking cry of someone whose world is collapsing in front of strangers. "Everyone is lying because they hate rich people," she blurts, grabbing onto her final excuse like a drowning person grabbing rope that's already snapped. Judge Judy's eyebrow rises. "No, Miss Lockridge, they're not lying. They're remembering." Angela inhales deeply. "It didn't have to be like this," she says softly. Angela lifts her gaze, tear-streaked but resolute. "There's more," she whispers. "And this time, I brought proof. Tell me this. If someone tried to rewrite reality right in front of you, would you stay silent or speak up?" The diamond bracelet lies in the center of Judge Judy's bench like a piece of evidence from a crime scene, gleaming, dented, damning. Every eye in the courtroom is fixed on it, except Serena's. She can't look at it. She looks everywhere else, at the floor, at the ceiling, at her own shaking hands, anywhere but at the truth she once hurled at another human being. Judge Judy runs her thumb slowly across the bracelet's dent, the small indentation that speaks volumes. "Ms. Morales," she says, "how did you get this?" Angela answers, voice low but steady. "She threw it at me, hard." Judy nods slowly, letting the words settle like dust on polished wood. Then she turns her gaze toward Serena, a stare that strips away excuses, pretense, reputation. "Miss Lockridge," Judy says, "do you deny damaging this bracelet by throwing it at your employee?" Serena swallows hard, cheeks blotched with panic. It wasn't like that." "Then explain," Judy presses, her tone dangerous in its calm. Serena exhales shakily. "I was upset about something else. I didn't aim at her. It slipped. She's making it sound worse because she wants money." Angela doesn't flinch. "I don't want your money, Serena." The sincerity in her voice makes the gallery shift. Carla turns toward Serena as well, eyes soft but resolute. "We wanted respect. That's all." Serena's breathing quickens. She looks at Angela, then at Carla, and for a second, something in her expression flickers. Not guilt exactly, but recognition. The recognition of someone who has run out of lies that sound believable even to herself. Judge Judy slides the bracelet forward, the metal scraping softly against the wood. "Miss Lockridge, if this were merely about money, these women wouldn't have come forward with recordings, documentation, and corroborating stories. You underestimated them. You overestimated yourself." The words land like hammer blows. Serena's eyes shine with tears she desperately tries to suppress. "You don't understand. I was under pressure. My father, he expects perfection. He says everything reflects on our family. If staff made mistakes, it was my responsibility to fix it." "By assaulting them?" Judy challenges. Serena winces. Her voice drops to a whisper. "I didn't know what else to do." Carla speaks gently. "You could have talked to us. You could have asked. Instead, you punished." The gallery murmurs, a low rumble of agreement and disbelief. Judge Judy leans back. "Miss Lockridge, your upbringing may explain your behavior, but it does not excuse it. This bracelet," she taps it twice firmly, "is not just jewelry. It is evidence of violence." Serena chokes out. "I wasn't trying to hurt her." Angela lifts her scarred shoulder. "You did." Silence blankets the courtroom. Then Judy asks, voice sharpened to precision, "Miss Lockridge, is this who you truly are, or is this who you think you're supposed to be?" Serena's breath stutters. Her mask, once gold-plated arrogance, fractures all the way through. She whispers, breaking. "You don't understand my father." Judge Judy leans forward, eyes narrowing. "Then explain him to me." "Because the next truth Serena reveals will change everything." Serena's whisper. "You don't understand my father," lands like a hairline crack in a sheet of glass. Small at first, but one tap, one memory, and the entire structure shatters. Judge Judy senses the shift and leans in, her tone soft but edged with steel. "Miss Lockridge," she says, "this courtroom is listening. Start talking." Serena swallows hard. The arrogance that once fueled every word has drained from her body, leaving behind someone far smaller than the world ever allowed her to be. Her hands twist together, not out of defiance, but fear. "My father," Serena begins, voice barely audible. "He's intense, perfectionist. Nothing is ever good enough." She pauses, blinking rapidly. "When I was a kid, if I embarrassed him, even a little, he would snap." Carla watches her, surprised. Angela, too. Even the gallery quiets, bracing for whatever truth comes next. Serena's eyes glaze over, not with tears, but with memory. "Once, when I was 10, I spilled a drink at a charity gala, just a glass of lemonade. I still remember the sound it made when it hit the marble floor." She inhales sharply. "And the sound his voice made afterward." Judy remains silent, listening, not condoning, not judging yet, simply receiving. "He dragged me into the green room," Serena continues. "Told me I'd humiliated him, that I wasn't worthy of his last name. And then," her jaw trembles, "he threw his shoe at me, a leather loafer, hit me across the cheek." A stunned ripple moves through the courtroom. Carla's hand lifts to her mouth. Angela's eyes fill. Serena's voice cracks for the first time, not out of manipulation, but from a wound that never healed. "I learned that day that mistakes equal punishment," she whispers, "and punishment equals control. He told me I'd better learn how to manage people or I'd never survive in our world." Judge Judy's face shifts, a micro-expression of something like sorrow hidden beneath seasoned restraint. "So," Judy asks softly, "you repeated what was done to you?" Serena flinches. "No, I didn't want to. I swear I didn't. But when I felt cornered or judged or small, I heard his voice in my head, saying I was weak, saying I needed to show authority, saying staff only respect strength." "Strength," Judy repeats, "or cruelty?" Serena can't answer. The courtroom is suspended in a fragile balance, empathy on one side, outrage on the other. Carla speaks quietly. "Serena, no one deserved what he did to you, but we didn't deserve what you did to us either." Serena covers her face, shoulders shaking. I know I messed up. I know I hurt people. I never wanted to be like him." Judge Judy folds her hands. "Then why?" she asks. "Did you throw your shoe at this bench today?" Serena freezes, her fingers curl inward. Her breath shudders. When she finally lowers her hands, her eyes are red, not with performance, but with realization. "Because," she whispers, voice breaking, "because it was the same shoe he threw at me." Gasps fill the room, a tidal wave of shock. Serena's voice collapses into a trembling confession. "I kept it for years, as a reminder of what I'd survived, and today, I became him." Serena's confession, "Today, I became him," lingers in the air like smoke from a fire that's been burning for years. The courtroom isn't just silent, it's stunned into stillness, as though no one dares to move for fear of shattering the moment. Judge Judy exhales slowly, and the sound echoes like a gavel struck inside a heart. Judy leans forward, her voice low, steady. "Miss Lockridge, pain does not justify causing pain. But it can explain how cycles continue, unless someone stops them." Serena nods, a small, fragile motion. Her mascara is smudged, her shoulders slumped, her confidence stripped to the bone. For the first time, she looks her age. Not a billionaire's daughter, not a tyrant, not a polished emblem of privilege. Just a hurt, frightened young woman who has never learned anything except what she was taught. Authority equals cruelty. Carla watches her with a softness she didn't expect to feel. Guilt shifts across her face, not for speaking up, but for finally seeing what was behind the monster she'd feared. Angela, too, lowers her gaze, her anger folding into quiet empathy. "Serena," she says gently, "you could have asked for help. From any of us." Serena gives a broken laugh. "Help? In my family? The only thing weaker than mistakes is admitting you have them." Judge Judy nods slowly, understanding more than she lets on. "Some families teach power instead of compassion, control instead of communication. But here, in this courtroom, that cycle ends." Serena wipes her eyes. "I don't know how to stop it." Judy's gaze softens, but her voice stays firm. "Accountability is the first step. Responsibility is the second. And humility," she pauses, letting the word settle, "is the one you fight hardest against." Serena bows her head. Carla inhales shakily. Your Honor, may I say something? Judy allows it with a nod. Carla turns toward Serena. Her voice is tender but honest. I was terrified of you every day, but hearing this, seeing you now, I think you were terrified of yourself too. Serena's breath hitches. That truth hits deeper than any accusation. I didn't want to be like him, Serena whispers. Every time I raised my voice, every time I punished someone, a part of me hated myself. Then why keep doing it? Angela asks softly. Serena's answer is barely a whisper. Because it was the only thing I knew how to do. The room absorbs the confession, a raw, painful honesty that strips away every layer of privilege and exposes a girl shaped by a father who taught brutality as a virtue. Judge Judy finally speaks again, voice firm. Miss Lockridge, cycles don't break by accident, they break by choice, and today you have one. Serena lifts her red-rimmed eyes. You can continue repeating your father's legacy, Judy says, or you can confront it and walk a different path. Serena nods, trembling. I want to change. I just don't know how. Judy softens 1 degree, just 1. You will, because then Judge Judy adds, but first, there will be consequences. The gallery stirs, and because everyone knows the next section won't just be emotional, it will be judgment. Judge Judy rises from her bench with a slow, deliberate motion, and the entire courtroom straightens as though gravity itself just shifted. Serena stiffens, breath trapped in her chest. Everyone knows that look in Judy's eyes, the moment before the verdict, the moment before truth becomes consequence. Judy folds her hands behind her back and steps closer to the edge of the bench, her voice steady as steel. Miss Lockridge, actions have consequences, and today, you will face them. Serena swallows hard. Her legs tremble beneath the table. Her attorney shifts uncomfortably, as though he, too, knows the tidal wave that's coming. First, Judy says, let's address the financial claims. She reaches for the folder on her bench. Papers rustle like brittle leaves. Serena closes her eyes. You will pay Ms. Reyes the full wages you unlawfully withheld, Judy continues, not just the missing 2 weeks, but an additional penalty for the withholding itself. The gallery lets out a low ripple of approval. Serena nods weakly. Yes, Your Honor. And second, Judy says, turning her attention to Angela, you will compensate Ms. Morales for the injury caused by the thrown bracelet, as well as damages for the hostile work environment she endured. Angela gasps softly, overwhelmed. Judy isn't finished. You will also provide both plaintiffs with written professional references drafted by a neutral party agreed upon by this court. Not by your father, not by your household staff, by a licensed evaluator. Serena's face collapses. Her father will hate that. But Judy presses on. Third, Judy says, voice firm but not cruel, you will enroll in mandatory behavioral counseling, not a luxury wellness retreat, not a PR-driven media coach, real therapy with a licensed professional, and you will attend every session. Serena's lips tremble. I understand. But Judy's gaze sharpens. No, she says. You don't. Not yet. A hush falls. Because fourth, I'm forwarding parts of this case to family services and professional evaluators, especially concerning your father's involvement. Serena's head jerks up. Wait, what? No, you can't. Yes, I can, Judy says calmly. And I will. Her voice slices through Serena's panic. You may be an adult, Miss Lockridge, but emotional abuse leaves marks long after childhood ends, and any environment that enables cruelty, whether through fear or power, deserves scrutiny. Serena's face drains of color. Her hands grip the table, knuckles whitening. But they'll talk to him. Her voice breaks. He'll be furious. Judy steps forward, her tone softening but never losing authority. Miss Lockridge, that fear is precisely why this must happen. Carla watches Serena with unexpected empathy. Angela wipes a tear. Judy continues. This is not punishment for punishment's sake. This is protection for the people you hurt and for you. Serena's breathing becomes uneven. What? What am I supposed to do now? Judy meets her eyes, and for the first time, her voice carries a note of gentle finality. You start by acknowledging that consequences are not cruelty. They are opportunity. The room exhales, a collective, cautious breath. Serena lifts her tear-filled gaze and whispers, Will they talk to my father? And the fear in her voice tells the entire courtroom this is the consequence she dreaded most. Serena's question, Will they talk to my father? Trembles through the courtroom like the last note of a broken violin string. She isn't the arrogant heiress anymore. She's a daughter bracing for the storm she knows all too well. Judge Judy studies her with a measured stillness. Yes, she says, they will. The words land like a verdict of their own. Serena's breath shudders out of her. Her eyes dart around the room as though searching for a way to run or hide from a fear she's never dared to name out loud. The polished courtroom lights catch the sheen of tears forming at the corners of her eyes. Carla watches her quietly, empathy stirring again despite everything. Angela folds her hands, understanding the unique dread of facing someone who taught you to fear their disappointment more than their cruelty. Judge Judy continues, stepping down from the bench with slow, deliberate steps that give her words weight. Miss Lockridge, your father may be powerful, but power is irrelevant in this courtroom. What matters are facts, behaviors, and the well-being of those affected by them. Serena nods, but it's instinctive, like someone nodding to avoid being hit again. Judy notices. Her tone softens, but only slightly. Family Services will review his conduct, she says. Not to punish him, but to assess whether he contributed to the patterns we've seen today. Serena's voice cracks. He'll think I betrayed him. Judy shakes her head. Telling the truth is not betrayal. Silence is how cruelty survives. A soft murmur moves through the gallery. Serena's gaze drops to her trembling hands. For the first time, she doesn't hide them beneath confidence or defensiveness. She just stares, as though seeing the person she's become and the person she might still be. Carla takes a small breath and says, almost reluctantly, Serena, it doesn't have to define you. Any of this. Serena looks up, stunned by the unexpected kindness. Angela nods, too. Facing the truth is harder than avoiding it. But you're not the only one who grew up in fear. Serena's lips tremble. I'm scared. Judge Judy steps closer. Her presence grounding the moment like an anchor. Good. Fear can be a compass. It points us toward what needs to change. Serena lets out a sob. Quiet, raw, human. I want to be better, she whispers. I don't know if I can. Judy answers with the steadiness of someone who has spent decades watching people rise or fall by their own choices. You can. But wanting to change is not enough. You must choose to change. Every day, especially when fear tells you otherwise. The courtroom breathes with her, absorbed in the heavy honesty of the moment. Judge Judy returns to the bench and rests both hands on the wood. Your apology to Ms. Reyes and Ms. Morales, she says, is necessary. But it must be genuine, and for their sake, not your comfort. Serena nods, tears slipping free. She turns to Carla and Angela. Her voice shakes. But she speaks anyway. I'm sorry. For everything. For hurting you. For repeating what was done to me. For not stopping myself sooner. Carla nods softly. Angela wipes a tear. Judge Judy studies them all. The victims, the fallen perpetrator. The room filled with witnesses to a painful truth finally spoken aloud. Now tell me, Miss Lockridge, Judy says, her voice quiet but unyielding. Is there anything you're willing to do after today to make sure this never happens again? Serena looks up, breath unsteady, because the next word she chooses will define the rest of her life. Do you think Serena deserves forgiveness, or simply the consequences she's earned? Tell me what justice looks like to you. Serena stands frozen in the center of the courtroom, a young woman caught between the person she was raised to be and the person she's terrified to become. Judge Judy's question still hangs in the air. What are you willing to do after today to make sure this never happens again? For the first time, Serena doesn't look to her attorney. She doesn't look to the gallery. She doesn't even look at the bracelet, the weapon of her past. She looks inward. A single tear slips down her face, then another. Her voice wavers at first, then steadies with a resolve she has never dared use. I want to break the cycle, she says. I want to be someone different, someone better, someone who doesn't hurt people just because she was hurt. The courtroom listens, not with pity, but with cautious hope. Serena continues. I'll do the therapy, the counseling, all of it. I'll pay what I owe. I'll give references. I'll apologize as many times as it takes. Her breath shakes, but I know that isn't enough to undo what I did. Carla's eyes soften. Angela folds her hands, absorbing the weight of Serena's sincerity. Serena looks directly at them. You deserved kindness. You deserved dignity. And I failed you. I'm so sorry. Carla nods once, acknowledging the apology. Not forgetting, not excusing, but receiving. Angela whispers, "Thank you," her voice trembling with her own long-buried pain. Judge Judy sits down slowly, the moment heavy with meaning. Miss Lockridge, she says, it is rare, very rare, that someone raised in an environment like yours chooses accountability over denial. But if you are sincere about changing, you have a long road ahead. Serena nods, wiping her cheeks. Your father, Judy continues, will be contacted by evaluators, not as retaliation, not as revenge, but because sustained harm, emotional or otherwise, must be examined for your well-being, for the well-being of anyone still in that home. Serena exhales deeply, a breath that sounds like release and fear intertwined. Carla and Angela exchange a glance, both recognizing the courage it takes to face a force as powerful as the Lockridge patriarch. Judge Judy then lifts the gavel, holding it mid-air, not yet striking, but letting the pause speak. Let today be the turning point, she says, not because the court demands it, but because you finally do. Serena nods, her voice barely audible. I do. Judy continues, justice is not vengeance. It is restoration. It is boundary. It is the correction of harm through responsibility, not humiliation. She looks at Carla and Angela. And both of you, your voices today ensured that justice reached beyond these walls. You stood not only for yourselves, but for every person who has ever been silenced by power. Carla wipes a tear. Angela bows her head. Judge Judy lowers the gavel slowly. Restitution ordered. Counseling mandated. Documentation forwarded. This matter is concluded.